In this video, we will be making the best, the biggest, the most expensive theme park tycoon you've ever seen. We are starting from scratch, so let's get started with the beginning.
Alright, we just opened our first ride, and wow, this is gonna take a long time. We are making zero money. Alright, well, let's put in some different rides.
Alright, so we started our day by putting a couple of rides in. You will see a bunch of these time lapses just because this video took very long. And we just decided to increase profits by putting more and more rides, but soon I'll learn that this isn't the most efficient way to make money. Alright, well, I've come to the realization that I am not making money at all, and I decided to look up a tutorial, and this dude says that I gotta delete everything and set up my rides in a particular way. Let me show you what I mean. So apparently this is the way you're supposed to put them. I guess it just increases profits, and it doesn't actually take that long to write it, so as soon as people finish writing it, they're out like ASAP. And it puts a bunch of random decorations around just because I guess that increases the decoration in it and people would want to write it more. I'm confused. I just do what the video tells me. Alright, let me make a couple of these. Alright, so I decided to do this with a bunch of rides just because I don't have many rides right now because I don't have many credits or even have a good rated park. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this for every single ride and see where it goes from there. Alright, here we go. We added a couple of more rides in just to get that cash flow. We are making pretty good money right now, and I feel like I'm going to be AFK a lot, so I'm trying to max out as much as I can. Let me put some of these trash cans down, just because I don't want my rating to go down just because people are throwing trash on the floor. Inconsiderate, am I right? Let this go for around 2 hours just to see where I would be, and I ended up adding a couple of rides here and there just to max out full profit and increase my rating, because what I'm seeing is that's the only thing that's annoying me, that I can't put more rides in. So I ended up just working on that and trying to increase my rating so I could put more rides in. But trust me, we are nowhere near to being finished. We still have a lot to go. Alright, so we increased our rating a little bit, actually a decent amount, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start deleting everything and try to make this park as efficient as possible so I can leave it overnight and it make me a lot of bread. This is definitely gonna take a long time. If only there was like a delete all function, that would probably help, right? So that is exactly what we did. We ended up deleting everything and starting from scratch once again, but this time we were gonna follow the same pattern you guys saw at the start. We're gonna put everything neatly and short and overall efficient. The thing with these roller coasters is people will get in them and leave instantly, so you won't be wasting any time. And you would put a shop right next to it, so as soon as he's done with the roller coaster, he would buy something off there. This ended up being a charm and being the MVP of the video. Alright, so here's our majestic little park. Everything looks exactly the same, doesn't it? I ain't gonna lie, I've been playing this game for around 5 hours already, and I am really tired. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave this playing and wake up and hopefully be billionaires by then. Alright, so we ended up recording for like 11 hours, and I'm not going to show you the 11 hours because this time lapse, if I were to put the entire time lapse of this particular playthrough, it would be around 10 minutes long. That's how long, and I'm timing this times 100, so yeah, this is as fast as it can go. But yeah, we ended up going to sleep and making some money along the way just because if I didn't do that, this video would take forever. Alright, so we ended up getting around 2 million just by sleeping, so I'm okay with that. And I added a couple of more things, that's why the money is a little bit lower right now. But I ain't gonna lie, that was really efficient, and I got a couple of things to do today, so I'm gonna just do that again and get even more money. Actually, no, I'm gonna add a couple of more rides to make even more money and, you know, boost my rating so I can add even more rides. I'm gonna start deleting a couple of things just to add a little bit more space and a little bit more details, but I'm planning to go all out by the final park. So that is exactly what we did. We ended up increasing our park even more and even buying more plots just to be able to add more rides in a smaller area. This did take me a little bit of time, but the ending was worth it. I ended up getting even more money off this. Alright, I believe it is finally time. I believe it is time to make the big park. Alright, we're gonna start deleting everything just because we need all this space and increasing everything. This is probably the most annoying part of the day, starting to delete everything, because you have to delete everything like tediously, like there's no delete all. Alright, let's get started with my favorite part of the day, building. I actually enjoy building a lot in this video. The first thing I want to do is I want to tell you what I want to do for my entire Tycoon. I want to do a castle theme. That's why you see this entrance being a castle, just because you gotta have a good entrance, and since my park's gonna be castles, then hey, I should follow it along. But the castle ended up turning really well, and I started working on the second building. This is probably gonna be my favorite building of all of them, except the big castle. The big castle was definitely the better building, but this one just my favorite personally. I like the details. I did take some inspiration from other things, which I guess it's good to do that. Usually that's what other people do. They just take inspirations off other buildings. I don't actually remember where I took this from. I just remember seeing it once and I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. For my second building, I ended up doing this like college type theme building. It just looks like a college dorm for some reason. I ended up actually making two of these, just like identical to each other. You'll see it later on. But I ended up starting to work on my third building, which is, it's the mid building. I'm not too keen with this building. I think it's alright, but it's definitely not my favorite building out of all of them. There's probably like, not my least. There's a few others later on that are like not as detailed as this one. This one actually, I took inspirations from making everything different. Like all these buildings, you're seeing them and they're completely different from each other. None of them are alike in any way. And here's the third building. Here's where I started spicing it up, and I believe this entire build ended up being really well. This took the entire first day. I ended up splitting the building into 3 separate days, and this was the start of everything. Alright, well the second part I did was a mountain. I want to have a great big mountain like around my castle just as background. I ended up putting a slide on it, but that's later on in the video. Right now I started making the mountain shape. It was quite hard to do. I actually needed to practice because I wanted to put the castle on top of a mountain, but it ended up turning out really well, and here at the final bits I ended up giving it some shade, trying to give it some color to make it look like an actual mountain. Now, starting off with the big castle, this is the build that probably took the longest amount of time just because of how huge it was. I ended up doing a river around it just because I thought it looked cool, but here it is. I started doing the little mountains and then I actually focused on the building. I didn't actually have much inspiration from making this building. I just started building and just whatever came to my head I did do it. I ended up changing a little bit of things halfway. I even like cut off the middle of it because I wanted to have like a bridge that you would cross along and like go to see the other castle. I even wanted the roller coaster to go around the bridge. I thought it would look really cool. I even ended up making the slide as well in this part of the video because I recorded these things in like separate parts. The town in one, the castle in the other, the mountain in the other. So yeah, I even ended up putting both of the water parks and the roller coaster on this part of the video. I even ended up doing some terraforming around the mountain just because I thought it looked cool. And I even made the castle on top of this entire like structure. That's the image I had in my head. I thought that's the way it would look the coolest. I want it to be bigger than any other build. I even ended up doing the water slide, as you can probably see, and the roller coaster, which you'll see at the end. And along the way of my building, obviously I met a couple of people who came through my park, and I asked them what they thought of my park, and they both thought it was a 10, and I wasn't even done yet, which is pretty lit. So shout out to these guys. And this was the final time lapse. This one was probably the easiest to do because it was just a bunch of random buildings. I ended up making every single building a little bit more different than the other just because I needed like a town, and not every town has the same building. But I ended up liking the vibe it was setting. It just set like a medieval vibe, seeing the castle in the background and then seeing these buildings here. I made a couple of buildings bigger than the other, and I did try in a couple of them more than the others. For example, that big building you saw at the beginning, that I tried really hard to make it look really cool. When you enter the park, I want you to see that big building, and then you would walk across the left and you'd see a couple of towns. I ended up even adding a couple more rides just because this is a theme park, not a city. I did forget that midway, but hey, it ended up looking really cool, and I was happy with how it turned out. But here we go for the tour around my entire theme. Alrighty, we have made it to the final part of the video. This is where I fully completed my theme park. I'm really happy how it looks. Let's take a tour. Alright, so here is the main entrance. Looks really cool. It just looks like a castle. Here you get all your tickets. I did like the vibe it was setting in here with all the lights. It's kind of an orange feel vibes. I added some rocks here just to get a little terraforming, and that's when I started like practicing terraforming and I figured what it was. And here is the main building. My favorite building is definitely this one. Look at it. It looks amazing. These are alright. These are mid, but this one is amazing. I added so much detail to this building. I did try on all the buildings, but this one's the coolest one. Here is the little college building I told you about. It looks like a dorm. It has the same thing mirrored in the other side. I will show that to you right now. But yeah, you can probably see it mirrored. I just like the vibe it was setting. I even added like a little lake in the middle. I added it for both of them, and I just thought it was a cool pattern. It looks like a little square from the top. But moving on to the next part of the town is this one. This is where I love the vibe I was saying. When you come across here, it just looks like a really cool town, a very tight space. That's how it was back in the days. Everyone was living right next to each other, so you didn't really have much space. Over here are the little shop buildings, or no, the places you work to go to sleep, and I added a couple of rides over here just to actually try and make a theme park, not just to study. This was probably the easiest part to build out of the entire part, just because the castle was pretty hard, and so was that big building and the one with the most details I told you about. But moving on to the next area of the park, let me show you this part of the park. This is where I added another area. I added a ship over here. It's not really working right now. I really don't know why, but moving along. Each building is completely different, as you can see. I did try making them as different as possible, just because why not, right? And here is the main big building I want to show you. This is like the biggest building out of all of them. Let me close these real quick. Alright, but this is the main part of the building. This is my favorite one, and now look at this one. This is the biggest building right here. I just think it looks really sick. I like the little layers and details I added to it, like the little spikes and the top area reflecting the bottom area. I just thought it was a cool vibe, and it could fit in with a castle. But talking about the castle, it's time to show you the big castle, the main attraction of this park. The one that took me around like 3 hours to build. Yes, that castle. Alright, here I did add a little park here. Let me actually show you from a better angle. You guys probably deserve a better angle. Let me get there. Yo, look how huge it is. It is a massive building, and the roller coaster around it looks even cooler. Let me ride the roller coaster. Let me show you what the roller coaster can actually do. How does it feel to ride? Right, we don't need to wait for it. It already is going, but yeah, let me show you this little buildings I built over here. This is a little like bridge area. You go over the river. Here's a little tiny entrance. I made a tiny little castle. It's definitely the smaller castle out of all of them. And where is it? Oh, it's right there. Right, perfect. I thought I was gonna have to click testing, but no. Alright, let's get in this. No one else getting on it. Alright, cool. Alright, let's go. Alright, it's not a fast roller coaster, but it's not about like the actual speed of the roller coaster or the flips. It's about like the tour of the castle. That's what I shaped it to be. As you can see, there's a little platform in the bottom with the terraforming, and on top is the main castle. There is really nothing inside these things yet. If you guys want me to fill them in and try to like even add more detail or make the park even bigger, because I still have a lot of territory I haven't used. Let me actually get off here so you can see the bridge and this top area. As you can see, it is an amazing thing. But if you guys want me to actually add more details and things inside these buildings, please make sure to like. If this video gets around like 500 likes, I will do a part 2 of this video. I did have a lot of fun doing it, but it really took a long time to build all of this. But yes, that is practically the entire park. I will show you from the middle and in daytime. Give me a sec. Boom, daytime, power of magic. Here we go. As you can see, the mountains over there, it was a mid mountain. It's definitely not my favorite part of the park. The town was definitely my favorite. The castle is one of my favorites. And yeah, this is my full park. I did enjoy building every minute of it. Here's the terraforming I was talking to you guys about. As you can see, it really shapes in the actual castle. It makes it look a lot more like realistic, just because there wouldn't be a big structure like that. Like back in the day, you would have like things supporting stuff. I did add also a lot of nature around this park, just because I didn't want any empty spaces. If you guys once again want me to build in this side of the park, make sure to let me know. I will for sure do it. Alright, well, that was this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please make sure to like and subscribe, and go check out some of my other videos, because I do this for a lot of different games. I just like completing the games and moving forward to another game. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Peace out.